All right, so the slide ends here. Kayvon Thibodeaux gets selected 5th overall. Again, bit of a surprise. We're going to have a lot of surprises here in this draft. We're not going to know every pick. This is one of the more up-in-the-air drafts. And I think this is a great pick. Thibodeaux was my 3rd favorite player in this draft, just behind Sauce Gardner and Aiden Hutchinson. So getting him here at 5, I think it's good value. And again, are there better, bigger needs for the Giants? Sure, I think that's fair, but at the same time, Thibodeau's really good. You aren't a good enough team to draft for need. Draft best player available, and he was the best player available. So let's get into what I like about him so much, and then we'll talk about the fit a little bit later on. So let's start off with this play. You see where he is on the field, and I feel like this is a good play to kind of just explain how he gets most of his wins. It really is with that explosive first step that he would typically get his wins on. Look at how, right off the bat, he's able to just get a step on that tackle. The tackle barely touches him, and he not only gets a hit, but knocks the football out. Now, listen, obviously tackles are faster in the NFL, and this was kind of a fluky play to begin with, right? But at the same time, if you have a great first step and you have great speed and, can hit the quarterback and knock the ball out with that kind of ferociousness, in the college level, it certainly will work to at least some degree at the NFL level, I would assume. This is another example. Again, you have a tackle who's going to go out to block him. And look at how right when this play begins, again, it's all just speed. You see the tackle is trying to get in position, but he just can't really get there in time. And you can go 2 different ways with this. I think sometimes it's fair to have some concerns about edge rushers who mostly win with these kind of moves, because a lot of times these are the moves that don't really translate to the NFL as well. But there's one key difference I have with Thibodeaux, which is why I'm not as concerned about him as maybe some other guys, is that he also has the speed to power that maybe some other guys might not. Because watch what this tackle's going to do. He holds Thibodeaux, but Thibodeaux still powers through and gets to the sack. So the issue with plays like that sometimes is that, there's a defensive lineman who only uses speed to generate pressure, and when tackles get faster, they don't have the power to make it work. Well, Thibodeaux still has the power to where I think he would still have no real issue at the NFL level. Right here is a good example of that. And this is where, there's been some Khalil Mack comparisons. And listen, comparing anyone to Khalil Mack is high praise, right? That's a lot to live up to. And to say that he will be Khalil Mack, it's impossible to say that as of today. However, you certainly can see the comparisons. So he's going up one-on-one against the left tackle, and this move is going to be right out of Khalil Mack's playbook. As you see, watch first the stab, where he's able to get his left arm kind of on that right shoulder pad area of the defender he's going up against. And this is how he's able to, again, use his speed. So use his speed. The tackle takes a step out, and then you're able to get the stab, and you're able to, get the hand placement that you want. He then gets his right hand over that left arm and is able to get an inside move and generate a pressure there. So that's how he can get a lot of his wins, is he has multiple moves and his moves play off each other. That great first step and his explosion right off the ball is typically where he thrives, but then he can use it to get himself pressures in other ways. This is another one where, again, it's a one-on-one matchup, but this one kind of a more of a unique one-on-one matchup. Thibodeaux doesn't know if it's going to be a pass or a run. 2nd and 7, you could do either here. And also, Thibodeaux is not going to be the contain guy right here. There's another Oregon player who's going to be the contain guy. So a couple of differences. However, look at how he does sort of get that to the inside to where the tackle who's blocking him. This is almost like a typical pass rush set, but just in reverse, as the left tackle's now right hand becomes so important. But because Thibodeaux gets so quick off the line, typically you'd want to have that right hand for the tackle outstretched. It's not outstretched whatsoever. As you see, Thibodeaux can just power through. 63 couldn't do anything, or he would have gotten called for a holding penalty. Play went on for a little bit longer, but still Thibodeaux was able to get the sack right there. And these moves also work on a play like this in the running game. So he's going up against a tight end. You expect him to be able to beat a tight end, right? But he's going to beat a tight end and beat a tight end pretty well. Look at how right when the play begins, again, you see him use his length to push the tight end back. This is kind of similar to the last one. And he's also moved the line of scrimmage back. You notice they're a yard back of the line of scrimmage right here because, again, that first step and the stab move, all that good stuff. Then watch him get his right hand again over the left arm, gets over, and makes the tackle. So similar moves sometimes work in both aspects of the game. Just because it's typically known as a pass rush move doesn't mean it can't work in run defense as well. Thibodeaux is both a good run defender and a good pass rusher. Something like this is a way that I'm sure he will be able to be effective at the next level. So what's going to happen here is it's actually going to be the guard who is blocking him here. This is an unconventional situation that UCLA is doing here. So it looks like they have 5 offensive linemen. They actually have a different ineligible receiver over to the left side of the screen. That's off the screen, in fact. So there's only 4 offensive linemen on the field. The guy who's lined up as though he's a right tackle is actually going to be running a route. So the guard is blocking Thibodeaux. Very confusing, I know. But at the end of the day, it's basically, just like a one-on-one matchup. Watch, right when this play begins, you see how there is a one-on-one block right here. And watch what Thibodeaux is going to be able to do. Watch him get this inside move, and he is able to, again, generate that pressure. And he can beat you in several different ways, and that's a good example of it, which is part of what I like about him so much. He is the kind of guy who, he'll beat you with the speed rush, and so then you're making sure you get to the outside, but then when you keep, going too far in that direction, he'll beat you to the inside. So there really is no winning against Thibodeaux. I also think something like this really just shows off the freaky athleticism with him, where first of all, you see that he is the first person moving. He timed a snap count here, and I think he timed it pretty well, because while he is going to be moving before anybody else, it looks like by the time the ball gets snapped, that he still isn't past the line of scrimmage, or even in the neutral zone. But anyways, watch what's going to happen because of this. And also worth mentioning, he is going to be unblocked at the line on this play since it's a running play. But look, so he crashes in, and at this point the quarterback is going to take the ball himself and try to get around the edge. That's how this play is working. So Thibodeaux crashed in, and now the quarterback, typically the way you want to do this is keep the ball yourself and run around Thibodeaux. However, as you see, Thibodeaux is able to reach out and make that tackle. So just a really good play by Thibodeaux. And again, he does this stuff consistently. He wins consistently. One last play, and again, this is another good example of I think it's fair to say Thibodeaux isn't the technician that an Aiden Hutchinson is. Hutchinson does have better hands. Hutchinson is a little bit more polished. But what's kind of great about Thibodeaux, it doesn't necessarily need to be that polished. Watch how on this play, the move isn't really much of a move at all, but the tackle can't really push him back, and he just gets to the quarterback and sacks him. So at the end of the day, if you're bigger and faster than the tackle, you're probably going to do a pretty good job, and I think it's fair to say he did a pretty good job on that play and all throughout college, and I'm sure plenty of it will work at the NFL level as well. So yeah, kind of like I said, you're just not good enough of a team, quite frankly, to be drafting for best player available, I think. Or excuse me, to be drafting for need, I think. I think when you draft for need, when you're a team who's ready to compete and you're trying to just help your team the most this year. Whereas for the Giants, they could use an edge rusher. It's not like their edge rusher is such a great situation that they just had no reason to do it. Could they have gone offensive tackle? Perhaps. Maybe they know something about the Panthers pick that we don't, because I don't know if the Panthers were selecting Thibodeaux. That's probably not a move they would have made. So that's kind of the question, but maybe they feel like the Panthers are selecting quarterback or something. We'll find out. That might already be revealed by the time this video comes out, so maybe I'm speculating for nothing. But very interesting situation. But yeah, that's what I think about